Mostly where a lot of guys go wrong is they get a girlfriend and then they give up on game. And they're like, nah, I've made it. I've got my girl. I'm done. I've mastered this. I'm happy with this girl. And then they sort of give up. Maybe a week, 2, 3, a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, even a year, that girlfriend is not in their life. And then they're like, oh, fuck, I gotta start all over again. And that is a fucking shit place to be in, guys. Do not do that, or do not fall into that trap. So yeah, I think, that's a really wise move, man, and I'm not sure how old you are. Let's just see if I can check quickly. But yeah, you absolutely don't want to be giving all of your prime time to a woman, or one woman in particular. You're actually quite young. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. In fact, you know what? We actually have it pretty good, guys. We have a much... Okay, 22, cool, man, thanks for that. That's exactly what I thought. Yeah, I was going to say 21, 22. Guys, we actually have it fucking much better than women in this regard, okay? So, women can give their prime time to a guy, the guy leaves, and they're in their 30s, they're a lot less desirable, and yeah, a lot of their prime time is often wasted in their 20s, and they get to their 30s and they actually have that oh shit moment. They're like, oh fuck, right, I need to find the next guy, my biological clock is ticking, my friends are all married, having babies, and all this crazy stuff, okay? And for them it's actually very hard. It's very, very hard, and they're constantly in this state of feeling, should I be with this guy? Am I wasting my time here? Am I giving my prime years to a guy when I should not be? Okay. And once women are past their 30s, like, I hate to say it, it's very sad, but they actually do start going downhill. I'm seeing a lot of girls that were, like, super hot in their 20s, and in their 30s, like, I don't know whether it's just that they're not looking after themselves or what. It could be a number of factors, but their value drops very significantly, okay? I'm now in my early 30s, and things are looking pretty good. I know there's guys in here in their 40s and 50s, and they're like, it gets better and better, like... So don't worry about giving your prime to a girl at that age. However, what you want to worry is developing your skill set, okay? So you're not going to lose out on years of being desirable to a woman. That will increase exponentially into your mid-20s, late 20s, early 30s, and mid-30s. Like, you'll actually be becoming more desirable to women as you're coming to that age. So, as I wouldn't worry about that, but what you do want to worry about is your skill set and not becoming rusty or, like, losing it and then, like, having to settle for a chick that you aren't quite happy with because you didn't have the skill set or you didn't have the confidence to go out and get it, right? So, with the healthy open relationships, yes, there absolutely is, especially in places that are a little bit more open-minded. You're in Winnipeg. I actually don't have too many experiences in open relationships. However, I must say I've been with tons of girls while I've been in relationships, okay? If I could have my time again, I wouldn't change it. If I could have it as an open relationship and do the exact same thing, then that would be better. However, I probably still wouldn't have wanted that girl sleeping around with other guys, okay? That may sound a bit selfish, but at the same time, I think that is, in fact, being part of a man, is going for what you want and not necessarily always being faithful to a girl. That may be a little bit hard to digest for some of you, but every old man that I've spoken to says that he wished that he gave less of a fuck in his 20s and 30s about what he did sexually. So he literally what they're saying is, and I've spoken to countless awesome dudes in their 60s, and they're like, I wish I just played the field more in my 20s and 30s and just didn't give a fuck, because, at the end of the day, those relationships weren't that meaningful. You may deem it to be, very, very meaningful right now, but when you look back and have time to put things into perspective, chances are you'll find that it probably wasn't really that important. So I'm not saying go out and hurt girls, I'm not saying go out and cheat on girls, but I would just sort of keep that in the back of your mind, If you can get into an open relationship, then that's cool, and I'm now looking at, I'm going to be starting to do that all over the world as I'm traveling more and more. I've obviously been based in my home city and been in a long relationship for a long time. But I'm certainly going to be setting up open relationships wherever possible. In fact, there's a girl coming over that I met here a couple of years ago in London. We're still keeping contact. She's very, very hot, and she's actually flying over here to come and see me, simply because I've, had a really good connection with her at the start. I made her feel really good about herself. She was into me because I was just, confident. I went for what I wanted. And I've kept in contact with her via text, and she's actually now flying out here, just to come and see me to meet again. And that's on the guise of, you're just coming over here to see me for a little while. This isn't a relationship, or this isn't a chance for us to be together forever. It's just, that you're coming over. So, in terms of setting up, like, open relationships like that, I'd be more inclined to set up relationships that are casual in nature and kind of leave them open wherever possible, okay? So it's like, you're clear about that off the bat, but then, you might see her again in 3 months, or 6 months, or a year, or in this case, 2 years. And then that's where you really are able to develop stuff like abundance, where, you come out of one relationship and there's another opportunity opening up here, or this finishes and then there's another one opening up over there. That's essentially how I would be trying to play it, is just keeping casual relationships is the key word, rather than open relationships. So my connection is weak. I hope it's okay. Can someone just post something if they're getting this? Sweet, it's all good. In terms of social circle and getting friends from that, I would definitely find people in your city that are into game or into pickup, and go out with them, because most of them, some of them are weird and retarded, and they're the guys that you probably don't want to hang around. But most people that do get into pickup genuinely want to improve themselves, genuinely want to be better with girls, and generally are good guys that want to consistently go out and better themselves in areas of their life, apart from pickup, but also including pickup, okay? So, I met recently the guy that I first started going out with ever. So I met him in a lair, and we started going out maybe 10 years ago. Actually more, 10, 12 years ago, and I met him out the other night. I'm like, hey man, this is cool, do you remember when we first went out for the very first time ever? And he's like, hey, yeah, I do remember that was really cool. And this guy's, now really well set up socially, really well set up in business. And I'm still good friends with him, and hey Andy, and we can still go out and have a good night and meet girls and talk about all sorts of other stuff apart from pickup. So I would suggest kind of like screening for yourself, or filtering through people in your city, in your community, and finding people that you want to hang out with, and hanging out with them. I don't think it's a good idea to just go out and meet randoms out at night. I mean, that can work, but the chances are very slim, and also the chances are less likely that you'll maintain ongoing relationships with them. I'm sure there's heaps of people in your city that want to go out. They can help you on your social circle, and when you come from the same mindset of going out to get girls and wanting to get better at women, it just helps. It just helps a lot. I don't like this whole idea of social circle to get girls. Like, you can have the best social circle, but if you're still a shit guy and a shit with women, girls in your social circle aren't just gonna jump into bed with you. They're only gonna do that if you're good with women. So if you become good with women, it's kind of like the social circle and the potential and opportunities from that should be a byproduct of going out and getting good with women. It doesn't happen the other way around, and I would strongly suggest against that. Yeah, I hope that's answered your questions, man. If there's anything else that I haven't covered on that, it's a pretty long one, just message me, okay? Okay, next one. Jason. I struggle with overcoming my religious upbringing. Intellectually, I know sex is really not a big a deal, but yet expressing interest in a woman or wanting sex seems somehow perverse and wrong. Any suggestions for drills or something to get over this? Or should I just sign up for years of therapy now? Just for context, I feel like admitting I'm attracted to someone through asking for a phone number or initiating physically is irredeemably offensive, comparable to, say, foolishly dropping a Nazi joke. If the girl expresses interest first, or it's a given by meeting, it's on like Donkey Kong, but otherwise it's like pulling teeth to make me do it myself. Okay, so that's a pretty deep one, but that's good. And I get the feeling there that it's somewhat religious upbringing based, but okay, if girls are expressing interest in you and you're okay with that, but when you're expressing interest in them, I get the feeling or vibe that that's also coming from within a little bit more, in terms of perhaps not necessarily admitting to yourself that there's something else going on there apart from your religious beliefs. Okay, I could be wrong on that, but that's just the feeling that I get, because it seems a little bit off or weird to me that if the girls come up to you, then it's on like Donkey Kong, to use your own words, but if they're not coming up to you, you have to, it's like pulling teeth to make you do it yourself. So religious upbringing is, let's address that first, because that's actually like a pretty big thing, and it can mess a lot of guys up. But at the same time, it's not such a big deal as well, and you can overcome it very quickly, okay? The question you have to ask yourself is, are these religious beliefs important to me? And do I actually care about the religion? Or is it just other people in my life, such as my mom, my dad, my family, that I'm kind of like supplicating to conform to those religious beliefs, right? And in fact, I've just worked with a guy recently, and he really doesn't give a fuck about the religion, but he does give a fuck about what his parents and family think, more so than anything else, okay? I would definitely not sign up for years of therapy. My background is psychology. I've done a lot of therapy with a lot of people. I've been trained to help people in, a therapy type situation where they're literally sitting and talking to you on a couch for years and years and years, and that does not, get efficient results, and B, it just costs a fuck ton of money, and it's just a waste of time, and it's shit. But there are certainly things that you can do to quickly get over that. I probably can't do that with you right now, but perhaps you can give me a little bit more context on your religion, and as I said, make that distinction whether or not you're doing it because of the religion and you really truly believe in that religion, and you want to uphold it, or are you just doing it for your parents or other significant figure that you look up to? So that would be the key for that one, is getting clear on that. And then with the second one, it's is there something there holding you back, irrespective of the religion, because that's what my instinct tells me. There's something else there that's, you may be disguising it or mixing it up with the religion, but actually, if you're willing to be with a girl when she comes to you, that's okay. I think there's a little bit of grey area there. So let's get really clear on that. You're going to have to message me back on that one, because I can't really expand upon that much more without knowing one or two, but you can solve that one pretty quickly. I've done it with quite a few guys already. Okay, David. Hi, Ryan. My question is, how do I game a two-girl set with my friend after we decided which one we want? What if the girl I want in the set begins to manifest more interest in him and my friend's girl interested in me? How should we proceed with this situation? Okay, cool question. I like this one. At the end of the day, it's going to happen, okay? You're going to go, oh, I like this girl, and I'm going to go for this one, and okay, mate, you can have this other one, right? You can go for her.